Alright, what's up, worldwide family? Welcome back to the channel, Jimmy Flippin' Deals. In case you didn't know, now you know. This is the first one at the house. For those that don't know, I do go by Jimmy Flippin' Deals here on YouTube. I am a reseller that resells on platforms like eBay, Amazon, Mercari, Poshmark, you name it, Bonanza, I'm there. Welcome to the channel. Normally this is a truck talk or a car talk. That's normally what my channel is, but things are changing. We are evolving and we are adapting. I up until recently was a part-time reseller that held down a full-time job, but effective today I did apply for FMLA because I have some stuff going on in my life. And business is getting bigger. It's making it increasingly more difficult to accomplish everything. So I did decide to take off from work. So here we are. Yeah, this is real different for me. I'm sure the light's not right. I'm sure the sound's not right. But we're steadily at it. We're gonna make things happen. And at the moment, I figured I'd bring you along for my typical work that I do at home. And at the moment, I've had some issues with, I had brought some clothing home underneath my big oak tree outside. I think it's oak. Yeah, pretty sure it's oak. Anyway, maybe it's not oak. Anyway, doesn't matter. I brought it home. I brought my car in. It was getting a little warm, so I rolled the windows down so it didn't the stuff in the car did not overheat before I got it out. And the lovely tree that's right over it, decided to drop a whole bunch of tree pollen on the car and unfortunately on the articles of clothing that I'm dealing with right now. So there's a few spots that I'm having to basically run a lint roller over in order to make sure that we are solid and ready to sell. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, but that's where we are. So let me know in the comment section if you don't think that's cool. But here we are. So I will tell y'all about the events as they transpired with my job. You know, I was supposed to call. I was directed to do two things yesterday. By the end of the day, I was directed to call and talk to HR. They gave me an 800 number, and also when I asked again about the vacation that they seemed to not want to give me, I was told to call and talk to the big boss. Now that being said, and for those, I don't know if I said it, but I'm going on FMLA, or at least that's the plan. And so I called them first thing this morning after I'd been up like all night. I actually, about 7, 8 o'clock, I went to sleep. I'm supposed to be at work at noon. And, I wake up at like 10:30 or something. So still plenty, not a great amount of time for notice that I'm not going to be there, even though they definitely anticipated that I would not be. And let's be honest, I don't know if I'm going back to work. But either way, I figure I'll follow this path, having a secure job in a few months. Like if that's the best thing that happens out of all of this, then that's a super huge win, a nice thing to be able to fall back on. If the world ends and people stop buying the stuff that I'm selling, right? I woke up about 10:30 this morning. I give them a call, and they told me after I got done, they said, all right, effective immediately then, you are now on FMLA, since it was a unforeseen instance, and we had talked a little bit about that. Boom, not so bad, right? Let me set that to the side, make sure that don't fall off. Unforeseen incidents. Shoot, did I de-sticker that? I did. Okay. Unforeseen incidents will put you on LOA effective immediately. And right before I got off the phone with them, I decided to throw the curveball and ask them, as far as the 3 weeks of vacation time that I have available, is that something that I can take on LOA? And they said they were going to send me the paperwork and everything else, so it's not like a one and done shot. But give me just a second, I gotta get something. It's not like a one and done shot, right? I got to fill out the paperwork. But anyway, I asked them about the 3 weeks vacation, and they told me that gone. They don't pay me, but they ought to. Anyway, they told me that once I successfully completed the paperwork, that they would pay me out 2 weeks, which is all that they could do at one time, 2 weeks of my vacation to start, and then on the following pay period, which my pay periods are every 2 weeks, then on the following pay period, they could cash me out the remaining 40 hours. So that's a huge win, a huge win, provided I can get all the paperwork and stuff situated the way it should be. Yeah, and in all honesty, the question of that is not the legitimacy of whether or not I have a family member that needs a hand or could use more time. Right now I'm only able to go see him like 1 day a week, right? So this would allow for me to see him more often, right? I'm not trying to abuse the system. However, I am trying to use the system to my advantage, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. But nevertheless, where am I at? So I get the paperwork, right? I gotta take it to his physician and have him or her fill out the paperwork. From what I understand legally, a nurse can do it. But whether or not a nurse within Dad's facility is willing to do it or authorized to do it may be a different thing. So we'll see where that goes and how that leads. And like I say, I know his doctors are not the easiest to get a hold of. Where's my other? There it is. Not the easiest to get a hold of. So that is kind of concerning, but the company has given me ample time to get the paperwork done, which is super cool, right? I think it's like 15 days or something. So hopefully somewhere in there, I should either be able to get with his doctor or even pay another doctor to look over his files and make the understanding or whatnot that yes, in fact, he can't take care of himself and definitely could, at the very least, benefit from some emotional support. So, and it's maybe what his needs are is the legal deal. It allows me to be able to spend more time with my dad, and let's face it, time's not getting any quicker. Matter of fact, this whole thing will allow me to spend more time, hopefully, with all my family, because between work and this side business, it has been kind of, in all honesty, not kind of, it has been really all-consuming, right? And I'm sure for the resellers out there that know the work balance, work-life balance thing with this is not an easily achievable thing unless you're able to also work with family, but then you're always working. So I'm not sure that that's the best thing either, right? So either way, effective today, provided I get the paperwork in right, then I have successfully gone LOA, FMLA, for the next up to and including 3 months. Little stray strands. I can't stand them. I know, I don't know if y'all cut those things off. I definitely spend the time on clothing to take care of those threads. I would sure hate for some little thread for somebody to question the quality of the item and return it just because it had a straight thread. I had somebody one time with a backpack said it wasn't very well made. It had a thread sticking out of it, and they wanted to return it, and it would have cost me more in shipping, of course, than what I actually had in the backpack. And that's where, that's all. I'm sorry to hear that, for one. I did the whole, customer service, PR, bit about how I, apologize for the inconvenience and apologize that the quality of the product didn't meet up to their standards and yada, yada, yada. But if she would care to indulge me and see if it was not just a loose thread that didn't get clipped in the manufacturing process, or possibly one that, even if it did get clipped, just got snagged in there. If she could cut the thread and see if there was any resulting issue over time with it, that I would extend her return policy, that if she had any issue with it at all, that I would take care of her personally beyond the 30 days. And by doing so, I never heard neither hide nor hair from her, but I'm glad that she gave me the benefit of one, reaching out to me and telling me the situation, and two, having the confidence in the situation and the sale to go ahead and give that backpack a shot. But it's been many months now, and I hadn't heard anything. And I told her, backpack or no backpack, if you don't feel like you've got your money's worth at the end of the day, just give me a call and I'll shoot your money back. No need to return the product. In that specific instance, sometimes I do. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think as far as returns. Sometimes I require them back. Sometimes I don't. It's not necessarily a dollar amount that provokes a particular response. It's really on a case-by-case basis, and some of it's just guts. So I don't know how y'all handle it. I know some things I've thought about as far as dollar amounts go, handling it a certain way or whatnot, when it's, not necessarily cost effective to ship a return back. But then other times, out of, what do you call that? Out of just not moral stance, just because I don't want to train the customers on low-level things to return them, just to that way they can keep the product and my money. That I'll actually pay over and above what it's ever worth to me. I'll get the return back and then throw it in the trash after I pay to have it sent back, just so they don't get in the habit of going, well, hey, it's under 10 or under 20 or under 30 or under 50 or under 100, whatever. I'll just say I want to return it, and then this guy will give it to me, right? And then give me my money back on top of it, which is in fact my money. So y'all let me know how y'all do with that. But either way, I don't want straight threads to mess up a sale, because that would be unfortunate. Where'd that go? Yeah, here we go. So where else? I have had a lot of sales today. Today has been a very unusual day. Normally it's like all over the map, right? You get your big sales, you get your small sales. At least I do. I do buy things that some of my things, I make $50-$75 for putting a box in a box, and then other things that, although I don't think I have any at the moment, there has been things that I have successfully, and would definitely do again, that every time I make a sale, I make $1. Like literally, I'll spend, $4 in postage, shipping an item that realistically I only have $1 in, or I'm getting $1 for. I buy it for $1, I sell it, and I end up making $1. And a lot of people say, well, I wouldn't mess with that. And I definitely get that point of view, but that one's tough. Uh, let's see. I get that point of view, but here's the deal of the thought process. Got it. With that, on those instances, I'm able to put those things like in the instance that actually worked very well. I put that item right next to the printer, right? And every time I sold it, like literally, and the bags for those, I also put right next to the printer. And it allowed me, when I'd see an order for that come across, I'd be like, oh, there's one. There's the product, there's the bag, put it in the bag, stick the label on it, stick it out the door. It took me longer to print out the label. The label was the most, time-consuming process in that. Right, so but by doing it the way that I had it set up, it took me maybe including printing the label, like 2 minutes to get it done. So if I can make a dollar every 2 minutes, that is what, folks, $30 an hour. And although that's not get rich money, that is definitely pay bills, right? So, so it's not a bad thing. Like, I definitely don't go out looking for those, but if I can fit it into a 4-ouncer and it's got a super low return rate, and I can make it happen, I'm not opposed to that. But today it seems like everything that's gone out, and it's actually exposed a weakness, so I'm grateful for it. Normally when it happens, I have, like a $20 item that, and I'm talking profit, not sales, but $20 profit item go out, a $10, a $5, a $3, a $2, a $10, a $20, you know what I'm saying? So they're rolling, and I see the days take, and everything seems to fit. However, today it seems like everything that has sold has been in the $3 to $5 range, and it has shown me that the way I store those particular items, the way I did with the one that I was talking about, that worked. The way I have these stored does not work, because I will, and for those that are with me, I've just converted to shelves that you see behind me, right? A lot, and I'm not 100% rolled out on those. I do still have portions of my house, of my store, that are totes stacked on top of totes, right? They're piled like 5 high, and they're big 27-gallon totes. And if I put a item that's super small in a big old tote and pile of 100 other things, and I'm exaggerating to emphasize the point, and I put 100 other things on top of it, and in order to get it, then I've got to go, I've got to move 5 totes, and then I've got to wade through 100 things to pull out the one to make $3. Now I'm in, what, 5-10 minutes, 10 minutes probably by the time I make the label. I put it in its package, make sure that, like quality control, all that everything is right. I may very well be at 10 minutes for a $3 item, which is still, in all fairness, $18 an hour on the pull side, but you still got to source it, you still got to list it, and all that stuff. So it blows that average down to a unacceptable level, right? Because nobody wants to work for, now nobody wants to work on their own and end up, making less than what they could at a regular job. Like, what's the point? Now, on that note, and then I'll get back to it, the point for me is that I'm more protected, more independent, even if I'm making the same amount of money or a little less working for myself than with somebody else. To me, I see an advantage in that. Anyways, long story short, it exposed the weakness that I need a better system for the smalls, right? If I take 10 minutes to pull a small and I'm making $18 an hour on the backside, but that's not even the full side of it. You know, the sourcing time, the prepping time, all that, you know, goes into play and knocks that average down to, you know, like $9 an hour sometimes on some items. Doesn't mean they're unsuccessful. It means the process is faulty, right? And I am a big operations, focus-minded seller. Like, I know that you can take something that almost seems unprofitable to a lot of people, and if you refine the process enough, you can make it very, very profitable. You know, so it allows you into niches that aren't as heavily saturated, right? And you know, by applying the same knowledge to even the bigger items, it makes things better. So long story short, with these items that are taking me a longer time than what they should, that shown themselves to be a holy crud, this is taking way too long kind of deal on this one day thing that I haven't been able to see up until this point. I have realized the need for like the smaller shelves that I have in the far back. They're the 18-inch, where these are the 24s, right? And I'm talking depth or whatever, you know, from front to back, right? Hold on. At any rate, the 18-inch ones, rather than the 27-gallon totes, I mean, maybe the 17s or the 10s. I think they have 10s. I know 17's the next size down. That seems to be almost half the size, 27s to 17s, right? They're significantly smaller, which allows for quicker sorting once I'm into the tote, but also shelves rather than stacked makes a huge point, you know, a huge win also. I mean, as it sits right now, even ensuring that all smalls do not go into the stack totes would save me a good amount of time, right? You know, and I don't know if y'all are conscious of those things. I mean, I'm definitely not smarter than anybody, but you know, sometimes my mind works differently than other people's, so it might not be something that you've thought about, you know, and but I definitely do, and it's one way that I bring profitability to my business, right? So anyway, by pulling, almost done, by pulling them and putting them on shelves, and I definitely don't mean a complete changeover system, but like a rollout, because changeovers take way too much time. But anyway, on a rollout, you know, over time, as the new process changes, the pick times will improve drastically. You know, and if I can take that one thing that you know, I made $18 an hour for, or even the $9, the fully, you know, when you think about sourcing and you think about prepping and, you know, all of that stuff, even the $9 an hour, and I can increase it by 50%, then it takes it to 13 and a half. But realistically, if I can double it, you know, by taking it from 10 minutes to 5 minutes, right? Which is what, it's definitely feasible. Not only feasible, I think I can get it to even less than that, but let's just call it at that. If I can take it from a 10-minute pull time to a 5-minute pull time, then I've effectively taken the 9 and made it to 18. I've taken the 18 and I've made it into 36, right? And those times not only bring up the hourly rate as far as that goes, but it also affects how much more I can list in a day, which brings the hourly rate up even more, right? So today has definitely shown me, and I don't mean to talk your ear off, and people that aren't resellers may find no value in this at all, but hopefully you do, by by having that exposed today, it definitely showed me how to become more profitable from here till the end of time. Right? But I mean, seriously though, because it goes systems that we change today, we get benefit from forever. I mean, until the next improvement goes down, right? So super happy that I could see that. I am super happy even that I've had all of these little sales. You know, even if it does take all day, it has effectively paid my base bills. And at the end of the day, I mean, who wants anything? You know, I mean, we all want to. I think the vast majority of us want to be financially secure and financially free and all of that. But on the short end of the spectrum, uh, it is nice just to make bills. Uh, and as with a regular job, I've had no issue. And I wouldn't have taken this step thinking that I would have any issue. Uh, but it is hard to let the corporate job go, so to speak, and pick this thing up. So I hope y'all find value in what I had to say. If not, at least it gives me something to do now while I prep stuff. So we've gone from, you know, I thought about doing another car ride with y'all up to the store and all that, and I will head up to the store here shortly. But I don't care for it, and I don't know if y'all have any feeling on it. I don't care so much for the nighttime car rides. The lighting is just atrocious, and I don't find those to be as aesthetically pleasing to me from a viewing standpoint, because as a, you know, I am my own worst critic, but I also need to be in order to make sure that I can provide the best content that I can at the moment, without all of the editing and everything, because although I want to provide the best content I can, I do not want to spend any more time than the one take kind of deal, right? I just, that doesn't seem like a good thing for me. So hopefully all of this works out in the deal. But so that's FMLA. That's refining processes again, continually. There is the website has gone leaps and bounds in the last 2 weeks. In the last 6 months, it's done night and day like 10 different times. I mean, it's crazy how far it's come in the last 6 months. But just in the last 2 weeks, I really am happy with the advances that it's made. I was able to successfully redirect buttons yesterday, which went through, pouring through. I don't know how many of y'all actually do coding. I am barely a novice, but reading through the novel of code that makes up my website in order to find a particular sentence within that novel to redirect the way a certain function works. So I was able to successfully do that. It took me several hours to find the right spot. But the more I do that, the better I get at it. So it is a labor of love, so to speak. But that's huge. I do believe eventually, whether it happens this year or not, I am definitely on the right track to become Google Merchant Approved. So my products show up in the free listings, at least, right next to Walmart and Target and all of those guys. So that's definitely the direction that I'm headed, and it takes a lot of work to get that accomplished and be an effective website that is capable of conversion, which I believe the navigational aspect of my website has gone leaps and bounds in the last 6 months, and I hope in the next 6 months I can say the same. I do eventually when I add colors and graphics and moving parts within the website, but right now just to be able to get somebody to be able to find enjoyment in browsing, or to find what they're actually looking for through the nested and layered menus, and removing friction by having quite a bit of it on the front page is huge. If y'all want to, go check it out, see what I'm talking about. Give me some tips, give me some pointers. www.jamestowntrading.com. And for those of y'all that actually find something that you want to buy, use the coupon code YouTube for an extra 10% off. Short of that, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up for now. This is actually a longer video than what it normally is. So thank you so much if you made it this far. And to my wonderful kids out there, I love you very much. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.